Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to a very special extra interview of Final Cut. Today I'm joined by a bodyguard turned actor who, quite frankly, puts Kevin Costner to shame in terms of bodyguarding. So, let's get the lowdown on him. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Steve Stanulis.
What's happening? How are you?
Not bad, mate. How are you?
Good. Good to speak from across the pond.
It is indeed. So, obviously, the inevitable question is, how are you?
Good. I mean, again, luckily, pretty busy. We just our new film just came out called Chronicle of a Serial Killer.
Ooh.
It's in the vein of the movie Seven with DMX, the Sexton, Dominique Swain. It's doing really well out here in the States right now.
I've heard Dominique. I haven't heard Dominique Swain's name since Alien Resurrection in '98.
Well, she's been busy, but maybe not so much with big commercial projects. But she does a great job in this.
Yep.
Brendan Sexton's phenomenal. DMX does a great job. James Russo, a legend. So like I said, it's trending on demand right now, and we're happy about it. So it's really good.
Fair enough, then. So, just about your history, briefly. You started working for the NYPD before you became a celebrity bodyguard. What was it like being a bodyguard?
Again, it was something I just kind of fell into.
Mm-hmm.
I had a mutual friend who was a money manager for a lot of A-list celebrities.
Yeah.
And kind of fell into it like that. I had really zero interest. But the fact that I was a cop, I had a gun, and a shield. For anybody who don't know what a shield is, it's a badge, and people found that more attractive. That I wasn't 6'5", 300 pounds. That I looked like I was part of a group, but still had the ability to show my shield and my gun.
Yep.
If I had to.
Yep. So, apparently, rumor has it, one of your clients was actually the legend that is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes. That was back in 1999.
Wow.
When he was, he was going out all the time.
That's when he was hot. And, literally when he was hot off Romeo and Juliet as well, near enough.
Actually, it was Titanic.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? Because Romeo and Juliet was 97, then Titanic was 98. Yeah, so my bad.
Yeah, no worries. And so I mean that's when he was going out every night. And again, it was great because whatever he did, I did. And he's one of the best out there, and nicest guy. And again, he's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Oh, that's very nice. So how did you get into acting?
So I was at one of these parties with the posse, and I met this guy Dylan Sellers, who's a producer out here, and he asked me if I played football. So I said, yeah, I played in high school. So he said, I'm doing a movie called The Replacements with Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman. You'd be great as the backup quarterback. I'm like, okay. So the following week, I'm in Baltimore Ravens football stadium, playing a backup quarterback. I mean, I had like one or two lines, but I kind of broke into it in a unique way because I had no interest of being involved in this business, and it kind of just fell to my lap.
Yeah. Did you take to acting straight away, or did you kind of struggle with it at first?
Well, again, I had the pleasure of working on that, and then working on Gangs of New York, with Daniel Day-Lewis, the role which he won the Oscar for. Mm-hmm. And then, interestingly enough, the gentleman who introduced me to everybody got in trouble, and I kind of lost all the access. So it was kind of reversed for me because I had fell into the business. Then when I finally got the bug, I lost all the access on it. I had to become like anybody else. I had to audition.
Yeah.
I had to, you want me? I got to audition, really? But I had to audition and grind the pavement like everybody else in New York and LA does. So I got the little taste, and then it went on from there.
Yeah. Like I say, you're not just an actor, you are a producer as well, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I produce, I direct. Yes, I don't like to do all three in any particular project, if at all possible.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing all three of them.
Yeah.
But I like doing one of them on each particular project, not all three. But yes, I've produced about over 26 films.
Yikes.
2 that came out this year. The Fifth Borough, which again had Tara Reid, James Russo, a lot of the guys from The Sopranos like Federico Castelluccio, Lilo Brancato, a lot of Italians. But it was basically The Sopranos meets it's basically, I'm trying to think of a comparison, but it took place on Staten Island, hence the Fifth Borough, which is a nickname for Staten Island in the 5 boroughs.
Yeah. So, and don't you also have your own production company as well?
Yes, so Stanulis Films. Again, we have a new project coming out in January. We're going to shoot called Red Money. We have Kevin Dillon aboard. We're hoping to secure Megan Fox, which is not 100% done yet, as well as a couple of the names I can't really speak about until it's done. But yeah, it would be a very substantial project. Next would be it's basically in a year from today. Say you and I are speaking right now, and the president, or in your case, the Queen, or whoever, basically says in a year from today, all money's red. Whatever you turn in green, you get back in red.
Yeah.
If you wait one day past the deadline, your money's useless. So now you have all these people trying to move this money that they're not supposed to have before the deadline. And it becomes very like the movie Traffic meets The Purge.
Yikes.
So we're kind of excited about that. So yeah, so it's luckily a lot of things going on right now. I can't complain.
Yeah, definitely can't. Right, so this is more like a question, more like a pitch. So if anyone approaches your production company, or you for that matter, with a movie idea, what factors do you take into account whether you think it's a viable idea?
That's a great question. I like to stick to certain genres.
Yeah.
Only because, again, by trial and error over the years, I've made probably every type of film. And if you came to me with a romantic comedy, if it doesn't have Brad Pitt in it, or Angelina Jolie, or anybody that ilk, they don't sell around the country.
Yeah.
Not the country, around the world. I stick more to action, thrillers, psychological thrillers, because if something is scary, it's scary everywhere. If there's a building blowing up,
it can happen in the real world. Yeah,
everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. Where maybe a comedy or a romantic comedy, what people might find funny in America, you might not get in Poland or China. So, to answer your question, it would have to be either maybe an action thriller, a drama, psychological thriller, even a horror film. I would consider.
I was about to say when you said scary, I thought he must mean horror, surely.
Yes. Yeah, a horror in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
A psychological thriller in the sense of like a 7, where it's keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time, and so yes. So those are the type of films that I'm attracted to, and that tend to sell around the world.
Right, everyone who knows me and listens to these interviews knows I love my horror. So let's just say someone's pitched you a horror idea. What is some rules that you have? So I prefer when I review, first thing I prefer my horror to be is as realistic as possible. So the minute you put CGI into horror, that's it. You've just ruined it for me. There's no point.
Yes.
So yeah, it's kind of stuff like that. So what would be your 5 sort of like yes points as to make a horror movie?
Well, first of all, I don't want to say I like gimmicks, but I do like to do films that are based on legendary things like that are potentially that could be real.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll say a certain house.
Yeah.
Like we'll say, for example, like Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
The fact that it could be real, or you can Google it and it's there and it exists. That would be number 1 on my list, because now people are more interested because it exists. 2, I agree with you. I don't like CGI in the whole film and all that nonsense. I like some old school Hitchcockian camera tricks and stuff like that. So I like as real as possible, but without so many gimmicky CGI tricks. And those probably are my 2 biggest peeves.
Yeah.
Anything else I can kind of live with, but and I'm not a big slasher guy. I like stuff that it's a little more like an Amityville Horror, or again, there's so many. I want to think about like the Hinsdale house, which is a big house that in Upper New York that people know about, or Salem.
Oh yes, Salem's Law.
Like stuff like the Jack the Ripper. Stuff in that elk.
Yeah. Where
it actually happened, or it's something still stands that reminds people that it happened.
It happened, and it can happen. It's kind of like The Conjuring in many respects, because The Conjuring, the second one, was actually set in England and actually based on I think it was an incident that happened in London. And it was actually like supernatural. It's actually been done in The Conjuring, so yeah, I do kind of know what you mean by that.
And that's a perfect example. That was it's funny you said that, because that was the movie I was trying to think of, The Conjuring.
Yeah.
I mean, that's scary because those 2 people existed. They're real paranormal investigators.
Yep, they
demonologists, and we don't know how much was exaggerated and how much was not. But the fact that the film did so well was because they were actually doing what they were, what the movie suggests, which makes it scarier. So yes, I don't want to see Jason from Friday the 13th for the 19th time, get killed and come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, that's just my preference.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with you on that. We actually had an 80s comedy show that took the mess out of Friday the 13th. It was set in the 23rd. I think it was the 2 million years in the future. And I believe they were on, what was it, Friday the 13th, part 1169. Just as a bit of a retake of it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
But that probably is what... that's probably what will actually happen once the lawsuits are eventually sorted out.
Well, I'll tell you what. The way 2020 is going, you never had anything could happen.
I know. Right, so you mentioned, you mentioned the 5th Borough earlier, which is actually on demand. Can you just give the ladies and gentlemen, listening, the idea of a plot and if you've got a role in it, which I believe you have. Excuse me.
Yes, 5th Borough is like in the vein of, like I said, The Sopranos. Beats. I'm trying to think of a film. I can't think of a film. But again, it's basically about a gentleman who was basically in that lifestyle, a mafia lifestyle, kind of straightens himself out.
Yeah.
His daughter gets cancer.
No.
And basically he can't pay the bills, so he kind of gets brought back into this life. Via money, so he's a rootable character because he's doing it for a reason. And it's just basically what the story is. There's nothing you would do for family. And again, it's got a great cast of the recognizable cast of a lot of people everybody would know. I mean, Tara Reid, obviously.
Everyone who's watched American Pie knows who she is.
Right.
Which I do, which I have, and I know who she is.
Right. Lilo Brancato, who's in for the Bronx Tale.
Mm-hmm.
James Russo, who again, he goes back to Beverly Hills 90210 to forget it. He's well, I'm trying to think of the other legendary film. Oh yeah, the Django. He was also in Donnie Brasco. Yeah. And then you have Federico Castelluccio, who was in The Sopranos.
Mm-hmm.
Constantine Maroulis, who was from American Idol. Audrey Landers, Sean Young.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a very, very recognizable cast.
Definitely.
Very driven, actor driven. Again, we came out in June 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And we got press like we were Soprano, like we were the Avengers.
Yeah.
Because there was no other films going on, or coming out, so we got a ton of recognition. And again, it's like The Sopranos meets The Departed, which is the movie I was looking for before.
Departed, yeah.
So everybody that's seen the movie has given rave reviews, and again, the cool thing about our films that I like, I don't like your particular. I don't love Hollywood endings because to me that's not real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't always beat the odds and or win all the money or win the lottery or get the girl.
Yeah.
I like, and I go back to 7. I like the once in the box endings.
Mm.
I like the fact that sometimes life doesn't work out the way you're supposed to because that's the way life is.
It is.
And without giving too much away to Fifth Borough, after all Nico does, the main character,
mm-hmm.
for his daughter, something happens at the end unexpectedly.
Yeah.
So he did all this, all these people died, all these things happened, and at the end of the day, it's for nothing. So again, to me, that's real life, and again, that I'm attracted to that, which is funny because in life, I'm what do you call like a real ball breaker?
Yeah.
Always kidding around and others, but I'm attracted to dark things, I guess, which is totally opposite of who I am.
Yeah.
But that's what I kind of tend to enjoy.
I must admit, I tend to enjoy movies like that as well. I always like movies that kind of like have a bit of a shock ending at the end. It's kind of like nearly all the Saw movies because there's always a twist at the end you don't see coming, and it's just kind of like, right, I know there's a twist coming. I just want to know what it is and whether I'm right or not. But yeah, I do agree. I absolutely love movies like that.
Right, and again, I think 7 was like the first one like that, where again, that's where they got that term. Well, the what's in the box ending, because obviously we don't know what happens at the end with the head in the box. But yeah, I mean, that's something I think I think it's phenomenal, especially when nobody sees it coming.
Yeah.
That's what I'm attracted to, definitely.
Yep. So this next part is just a little section that, considering you literally do a lot in the movie sector, I think it's kind of your what's the word I'm looking for? It seems to be one of those interviews where we keep thinking of things and we can't really think what they are. Your forte, I'll say. Your forte, yeah. So if somebody is kind of like, say we have a movie career and they kind of feel like they're getting nowhere with it, what advice would you say to them to, you can't give up, you have to keep trying until you get what you want?
I would say it's never been a better time, and instead of waiting for your agent or your manager or anybody to call you and waiting by the phone, create your own work. I mean, first of all, it's never been a better time. You could shoot a movie off an iPhone. So create work, make yourself indispensable. Like, again, if you want to act, I mean, take a class to learn how to direct, learn how learn the behind the scenes we're producing. Make yourself so indispensable that people can't not want to use you. But again, if you feel like you're being pigeonholed or you're getting the same type of roles, make a new reel, create a couple scenes for yourself, and then have somebody shoot it for you. But always create. Keep yourself relevant. Don't wait for somebody to knock on your door, because a lot of times that doesn't going to happen. So just keep grinding and just keep creating.
Sound advice. You sound like you've been there.
Yeah, I have. Yes, I have.
The voice of reason and sanity, ladies and gentlemen. He's been there. He knows what he's talking about. So obviously we are in the middle of the COVID, which has kind of really slowed movie production down. And basically there's talk about whether cinemas will still be a viable option for movies. So do you think that will still be the case, or has too much damage been done that it'll basically go straight to, like, say, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Apple TV, Disney Plus, etc., etc.?
I think, and this again is my personal opinion, I think it's going that way anyway. Especially people now, you get 80-inch screens, you're in your own comfortable house. People will spend, you go to a family of 5 to the movies, you spend over $100 with popcorn. And again, my kids, I have 3 children. I have an 8-year-old and 2 5-year-olds. They all watch tablets. They don't even watch TV. They watch they watch your iPads. So unfortunately, I think in 30 years from now, there's not going to be a Leo or a Brad Pitt or again, I don't know why I'm blanking out today, but there's not going to be that traditional movie star.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have so many different things you can stream at any point. You can binge watch. The day of waiting to see your favorite celebrity in a movie that comes out once every year and a half or 2 years, I think is going to be a thing of the past. I hope I'm wrong, but I think COVID kind of sped up the process.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's ever going to recover, because I can go right on demand and see what's happening. What's playing today, what just came out. So
yeah,
there's no reason, and kids have just too much access today to see anything they want whenever they want. So my long-winded answer is I think so. I don't know if the theater is ever going to be a thing again.
Yeah, I kind of hope it is, but at the same time, I think it may be a case of maybe technology has gotten too far that maybe cinemas are a viable option. But like you, I kind of hope that I'm wrong. But it's pretty hard to dispute the facts when you think about it.
I agree. And like I said, not once have my kids ever say, "Hey, Dad, I wish we could go to a movie." It's just, again, it's a different generation. It's I'm not sure how old you are, but I'm in my 40s, and again, our generation and up, this is what we like to have DVDs. We used to like to have record covers, and I look at the album and touch it, but they don't care. I used to like to have a magazine, smell it, open it, take it. Nowadays, read everything online. And again, I hope I'm wrong, but there's just too much that they can watch at any time.
Yeah.
If I want to catch up on one season of a show, I can do it in 2 days or a day, depending. It's just different times.
Yeah. Right. Outside of movie making and starring roles, what are you passionate about? What are your interests?
That's another great question. Again, probably sport. I'm into my sports. I'm into being a dad these days. I'm into making sure my kids are not doing exactly what everybody else's kids are doing, because they are doing it.
Yeah.
To remind them to go outside and play. When I used to come home from school, first thing I did was go out with my friends and play. Everybody sits in and watch YouTube and watches other people play. So it's being a dad. It's my sports. I've been into politics a lot. I'm not going to get into what side of the fence I'm on.
Fair enough.
But I've never been into politics as I've been into now. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much where I'm at today.
What would you say are your career highlights?
Well, that's another great question.
I try my best.
No, that's great. You're doing a great job. Because I don't really usually hesitate. I usually bang them right out. Again, working when I did the interpreter, working opposite Sean Penn was really cool. Obviously, working with Keanu Reeves and G. Hackman was awesome. I had written a play that opened up off Broadway called Strip that went to Vegas. And opened in Vegas was another career highlight. So yeah, I would say those three would probably stand out the most right now. Picture Sidney Pollack directing you, and you're standing opposite, face to face with Sean Penn. I mean, that's a pretty cerebral moment.
That's a dream.
Yeah, that's when you say, you know what, I think I did the right thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, we've talked about a lot of projects you've got coming up. So what projects have you got coming up in, I'll say the next future, all been well?
Hold on one second. I lost you for a second.
Yep, no worries. So, what have you got coming up in the next year or so?
So, January, we'll get you shoot Red Money, which is basically, like I said, what I explained before. Open up Megan Fox, Kevin Dillon. There's a lot more coming aboard. Like I said, we're just waiting to be announced. We also have a film called Men of Violence, which is a plastic surgeon addicted to violence.
Ooh.
That's one I'm pretty excited about as well. As well as, believe it or not, we have a TV show called Consensual, which is really in the vein of Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Meets 50 Shades of Grey.
Ooh.
So those are the next three up, and I'm equally excited about all three. Again, all dark.
Yeah.
All of it dark.
You release that one on Valentine's Day. You will have couples watching it on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, no, like I said, that's a great idea. But yeah, that's what I'm very, very excited about. That's a 8 episode series.
Yeah.
So we're putting that together as we speak.
Yeah, quite looking forward to that. What would you like the future to hold for you, both personally and professionally?
I just want to take over the world. Be an Indian chief would be my two big goals. No, it would be again just to continue making quality projects.
Yeah.
Go up the ladder. When people say, mention my name, people know he makes quality stuff. Not really everything else of notoriety and money. That's all great, but I'd like to again, if one thing in 10 years from now, I'd like people to say, "Oh, Steve Stanulis, oh wow, I love his work, I love his projects," and that's what my goal is, and that's what I intend to do. So that's what I'm hoping the future holds.
I hope the future does hold true for you. I really do.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So if people want to find you on social media or find your production company on social media, how would they go about it?
Sure, it's pretty easy breezy. It's on Instagram. I'm at Steve Stanulis, and Stanulis IG page is also at Stanulis Films. It's Stanulis Films. Same for Facebook. Same for Twitter. So yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm mostly an Instagram guy. So if you want to reach me, that's always the best way.
That is kind of the norm nowadays. More people are on Instagram than Twitter.
Yeah, and the nice thing is you do a post and then you get to go to all three. You know what I mean? So that just kind of condenses the time.
Very.
But most of my stuff is always on Instagram. So if you want to see what I'm up to or reach out, that's the best way to do it.
Oh, last question. If anyone wants to find any of your movies on demand, so like say Amazon Prime, Netflix, etc., etc.,
Sure.
where would they go? Or which one would they go to?
Well, Chronicle and Footborough right now, it was going to hold true for all of them. On demand is basically Verizon, Comcast, and DirecTV. But online, it's Amazon Prime, Vudu, YouTube, Vimeo. You can see it, check it out on Fandango. Oh my God, Google Play. If there's whatever platform, I don't forget platforms, but whatever platform there is that you can watch movies, they're there.
And on literally covering the basis, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Steve Stanulis.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime, mate. Thank you very much for coming on.